Welcome back, guys. It is St. Pat. Hold on. Hang on a second. Alright, much better. Had to get my green on. So, maybe you're like, I know we celebrate this holiday. Maybe, people will try to pinch you if you're not wearing green or something like that. And it's all this fun and everybody dresses up with green and all that. But you don't necessarily know the history behind it or what it's about. St. Patrick's Day is an official holiday in the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, which is in the UK, the Canadian provinces of Newfoundland and Labrador, and also in this other country here, which I'm not really sure how to pronounce. Now, although it is only official holiday in these places, it is celebrated widely all across the world in many places, especially in the United States. And there was even parades for St. Patrick's Day in New York in 1760 before our country was even fully formed. Every year, the Kelly River in Chicago is dyed green to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Now, the original color for St. Patrick's Day was blue. It was not green, but during 1798, when the Irish Rebellion happened, people began to use green for their love of their country, as well as use the clover for their national symbol. And from that point on, green became the color of St. Patrick's Day. And the most important person of St. Patrick's Day is St. Patrick himself, who wasn't even from Ireland. And his story is worth telling. Check it out.
St. Patrick was born not in Ireland, but in Britain around AD 35. Well, actually, he wasn't called St. Patrick at the time, or even Patrick, but was referred to as Maewyn Succat. Patrick was quite far from being a saint growing up. Until he was 16, he considered himself a pagan, or maybe even an atheist by today's definition. It was at that age when he was taken into slavery by a group of Irish marauders that attacked his village. Patrick was sold to his master, a Druid chief in Ireland, and served him for 6 years. It was during his captivity that he became a Christian. One day he heard what he described as a voice compelling him in his sleep to leave his master and find a ship that awaited him. He fled to the coast of Ireland and eventually made it back to his home. He then decided to study in the monastery and stayed there for 12 years, during which he decided that his calling was to convert the pagans to Christianity. Eventually, he adopted his Christian name, Patricius, or Patrick as we now know it, and returned to Ireland after being appointed a bishop. Patrick was very successful at winning converts, which upsetted the Celtic Druids, who had him arrested several times, but he managed to escape each arrest. Patrick traveled through Ireland, establishing monasteries, schools, and churches throughout the land. Patrick worked in Ireland for 30 years. Afterwards, he retired and then died on March 17th, in AD 461. There wasn't a canonization process when Patrick died. That didn't come up until the 12th century. He would have been declared a saint by acclamation, and his sainthood approved by a local bishop soon after he died. St. Patrick's Day was originally a Catholic holiday, and still is, but has also evolved into a secular holiday, being celebrated by non-Irish, non-Catholics, and ironically enough, even atheists. Today, when people think of St. Patrick, they imagine a leprechaun in a green jacket, hat, pipe, clover, and a pot of gold. Not a man who devoted 30 years of his life to teaching and helping the Irish. Hopefully you now know a little more about the history of St. Patrick.
Wow, guys, that story is incredible. That is an amazing story and history and heritage for the holiday to show that we can find Christ and we can even take what we have learned and what God has done in our life and share with others, even those who have persecuted us, even those who have hurt us or tried to damage us, and bring new life to a new region or new area despite the things that have done to us. And to see that his own persecution brought him to Christianity, brought him to love Christ, and then that love for Christ helped him to love people despite what they did to him, to the point he's like, I want to teach these people about Christ. It is an amazing story. It is something that we can today look at and say, what am I going through that maybe people are not treating me the way that I would like, but I can somehow reverse that and show people the kindness and love of God so that they can be blessed, even though I'm not being blessed in this situation. Maybe I'm feeling like I'm being beat down, but I can shine a light to these people regardless of how I'm being treated. That is the story of St. Patrick. That is what he did, and it is an amazing story, and it's worth celebrating. Guys, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope it encourages you to be a light unto Christ every single day. As always, guys, God bless.